It's not me. It's not me. I don't have fears. I don't care what.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Mental Health Comic Verse. Welcome if it's your first time here. It's your girl Storm, and today I want to talk a little bit about hypocrisy, specifically in preaching be yourself, be who you are, but then turning around and judging others for being them damn selves.
You can be yourself, but make sure you do it this way. Make sure you do it the way that I'm comfortable with.
Let's be real here. We've all been judged and we all have judged, right? And when it comes to judging other people, it's always better to understand them than to judge them. If they did something wrong or fucked up, then figure out why, understand why, because when you come from a place of understanding, it's just so much easier to let go of the hurt and the pain and the grudges that you have against people because you know that it's not personal. It's just their own issues that they're dealing with, and it actually has nothing to do with you. So what does it mean to be yourself, be who you are, embrace who you are? What does it really mean? So I gave myself a definition, and I'm gonna break it down into 3 parts and just go over it with you guys thoroughly. And so we can really understand what it means to be ourselves and how judgment plays a role in all of this. So to me, being yourself means fearlessly embracing your personality through all stages of your life, including the person that you have become. So how do you fearlessly embrace yourself? What does it mean to be fearless, right? So what is the fear that even holds us back from being who you are? We're afraid of embarrassing ourselves, right? Looking stupid, looking dumb, our ego taking a hit, all these things that lead to the fear of rejection. And no, this is not a reason to encourage self-destructive behavior. It's not a reason to act a fool. You can still be yourself and respect the situation that you are in. So anytime you're holding yourself back through fear and not through consideration, that's when you can kind of tell that you're not being yourself, right? So for example, if you're biting your tongue through fear, then you're scared of looking stupid and all that stuff. But if you're doing it through consideration, then you don't want to escalate the situation. You're trying to watch your tongue and diffuse the situation. So those are 2 separate scenarios. And like I always say, everything is circumstantial. And this is where it can get a little bit tricky because when it comes to highly empathetic people, they will dim their shine out of consideration, right? If someone else feels insecure or imitated in their presence and they know that or they feel that, they will make themselves smaller and dim their light, dim their shine so that that other person will feel comfortable around them. And that can be just as destructive. So it's really important that you're being self-aware, like I always say, and know what you're dealing with in your situation, okay? So moving on to number 2, being yourself through different stages and phases in your life. Because who you are when you're 15 to 25 to 45 to 85, it's all going to be different based on your experiences, based on who you're around at that time, where you're at. It's all going to be different, and what you liked when you were 15 is not what you're gonna like when you're 30. And what you like when you're 30 may not be what you like when you're even 35. You know, things change so constantly. Sometimes we make the wrong decisions. Sometimes we make decisions that we are not proud of. We have highlights, we have lowlights, and that's just a part of our human experiences and what we go through. And it's really important to embrace and accept who we were, because accepting who you are now and being who you are now is not the only thing that's important. Who you were is very much important as well. It's already happened. You've already been through it. It's already in your history books. And when you don't accept it, you're basically shaming yourself. You're very ashamed of whatever it was that you don't want to acknowledge. And the reason why it's so important to accept what you've been through is because when you carry that shame within yourself, you're judging yourself. So not only are you not fully grasping and learning the lesson that you were meant to in whatever you went through, but you are now going to pass that shame and that judgment on to others just as hard. You see now, you see where the cycle comes into play.
And now it all makes sense.
And that's the irony, right? People who judge others often judge themselves the hardest. They have been suppressed or shamed either by themselves or by others, which is why when they're around situations that trigger that suppressed part of themselves, their subconscious gets very uncomfortable and doesn't know what to do. So the easiest thing for the defense mechanism to soothe their mind is to just point fingers and judge others instead of looking at ourselves and figuring out why we're getting so triggered by something someone else is doing. or they've just been suppressed so much that they just repeat what they know, what has been ingrained in them like a broken record, and it's just repeat, repeat, repeat. So part 2 is about accepting who you've been in your journey and the things that you have gone through and things that you were not proud of, and making sure that you've learned lessons through those things and let it go. We often talk about getting this weight off our shoulders and dropping dead weight and refer to other people when we are other people. We are the dead weight, and that dead weight is the shame that we carry with us from past situations. You need to learn from it and let that shit go. That's it. Lastly, we have part 3, the person that we are now, the person that we have become. Because you know what? The person that we were 5 years ago, the things that we wanted 5 years ago may not be the things that we want now. In my case, the things that I wanted 5 months ago are not the things that I want now. That's just how life happens, right? And sometimes we get stuck in the flow of already being on one path, so we just mindlessly go through it without checking in with ourselves and asking ourselves, is this what I still want to do? Am I still interested in this? Is this still my passion? Do I still give a fuck at all? It's hard to let go when you've invested so much schooling in one thing, or you've invested so much time trying to climb up in this company, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. But you know what? At the end of the day, so many of us base our worth and our value on what we do, who we've become, and what we've accomplished in that sense. And what really matters is our character at the end of the day, because strip all that away, money comes and goes. This is the tale as old as time. Like, I'm not saying anything new here, right? Everyone says this. It's all about character. It's all about character. It is all motherfucking about character, you guys. It's so important, you guys, to check in with yourself and make sure you're happy with where you are at, because we're always changing, we're always evolving, and our interests are not going to be the same. Maybe we got into whatever we were doing because that's what we were guided into by our family, and now we've realized this is not what I want to do. And it's hard to take that risk, because maybe you don't even have a plan, you don't know what you actually want to do, so the idea of it can be really overwhelming. So because of that, we just get complacent and we're like, well, we'll see, we'll figure it out, we'll see where it goes, and then that we'll see where it goes just keeps going. So again, what's going to happen when you're unhappy with where you are and what you are doing, or how you are doing it, or maybe you feel like you're doing what you want and you're not accomplishing enough? And this is where the unhealthy competition and the unhealthy comparisons begin. So that's my breakdown on being who we are, fearlessly embracing all parts of ourselves, our personalities through all stages, and who we become. And I know it sounds easy. Everyone says it. Just be who you are. Just be yourself. Whatever, whatever, whatever. And it's one of those things that's much easier said than done, because everyone preaches it, but not everyone is that. Everyone who preaches it isn't actually being themselves. So don't be fooled. Do not feel stupid for not being able to just be yourself, because it's actually just not that easy. I'm not always myself. Being ourselves can actually be hard because our fears have a deep hold on us. So much so that we don't even realize it, because our brain plays it off like it's their problem. Something is wrong with them. It's not you.
It's not me. It's not me. I don't have fears. I don't care what.
So I hope you find it in you to embrace all parts of who you are fully and just love your damn self. Because when you don't, that's what leads to judgment. You start judging other people. You start focusing on what they're doing when you should be focused on your damn self and why you aren't progressing and getting to the level that you want to be at. Why are you so triggered by other people? It's kind of like hardcore religious people who want to push their beliefs on you, and you're just like,
yo, chill, 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 chill. I don't want to hear this. Like, this is not my thing.
No, but this has to be your thing. If this isn't your thing, then it's wrong.
and you're just like, and these types of people usually love to pawn it off on morality, honey. Oh my God, you don't have any morals. God is going to condemn you because what you are doing is wrong. So that's an extreme example, but that's what it's really like. Because people who judge, people who point fingers never have clean hands, ever. You can't show me one person who is without flaw, who is without motherfucking sin. And people who point fingers often have the dirtiest hands themselves, because, like I said, it comes from a place of suppression and shame that they've that they're holding on to somewhere deep inside there. So, side note, how do you know someone is deflecting or pointing fingers at you? Because when you turn the mirror and ask them the questions to get to the bottom of things, like, okay, so what is actually wrong with my actions? Is it hurting you? Is it hurting other people? Is it self-destructive to me? How is it wrong exactly? They don't really have real answers. It just kind of goes around in circles. It's kind of like talking to an ancient boyfriend, you know? You'll write paragraphs and paragraphs of exactly how you feel, explaining everything, and they'll just come back with angry remarks, condescending remarks, because they have nothing else to say, and they just try to quickly exit the conversation. If they do have something to say, then it's kind of just going around in circles. It goes from point A to point Z and nothing really makes sense. And when you try to make sense of it, they all of a sudden don't want to communicate. Your actions are just triggering their shame. So they're not going to have much to say except bullshit opinions about how it's affecting them. They're not going to have a real reason about how your actions are actually bad. So I hope you guys can see how much of a vicious cycle this is, and to practice being yourself and not judging others. And when you do judge others, flip the mirror onto yourself and ask yourself why, and be a judgment-free person. You'll learn so much more about yourself and how you handle things when you do that. You become a better person when you do that. I do believe that it all starts with us and our own self-awareness. We have to be the change that we want to see in the world. And when other people judge us, it's just not our problem. We can't control their perception, but we can control our reaction. So the next time someone wants to judge you and tell you how to be you, you tell them, fuck you. I'm just playing, I guess. But on a serious note, a lot of people view compassion as being a pussy and getting stepped on, but really it takes so much more strength to bite your tongue. Reacting out of emotion is the easy part. Controlling your emotions and acting out of compassion when someone is being a dumb bitch to you, that shit is hard.
That shit is motherfucking hard, okay?
Because at the end of the day, people who are judgmental, that comes from a place of disconnect. It comes from a place of feeling separation. And I'm going to link this video below by Infinite Waters. I love, love, love what he said. So he speaks on people who are cold. And this doesn't mean unempathetic people. These are people who are disconnected, who have been hurt. So now they are closed off and cold. And he speaks about how these people are stiff. And when you're stiff, you're stuck. You're stuck in one place. And people who are free, we're fluid, we're moving, we don't have time to stay and judge. He said analysis is paralysis, bitch. Oh my God, I felt that in my soul. I know you guys felt that. Analysis is paralysis. I know we've all been there where we overanalyze situations and ourselves. Nothing good comes from being a judgmental person except realizing your own fears. Because even if you're judging someone who has done you wrong, or who has done something wrong, understanding them is just such a better route, because you can understand why they're such a piece of shit and did that to you. And not to say you should make excuses and just forgive them based off your own understanding. No, 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 no. There's just nothing good that comes from being judgmental. I can't think of anything. And unless you're Judge Judy, bitch, I'm sure you can't think of anything either. At this point, I just don't understand it at all, because being judgmental is just such a negative action. And as we all know, whatever we put into the universe, we get back. So whatever you want to focus on, that's what you're going to get more of. You want to judge other people, you're going to get judged, because it's a vicious cycle. And you got to break the cycle. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this video was helpful to you. Drop a comment down below on your own experiences on being judged and being who you are. And just don't forget that it's all a process. It's okay if you can't come out of your shell right away and you can't just be yourself. It's not as easy as people make it out to be, and people who are preaching it are often not even themselves. And it's just important that you work on yourself and just shine and be happy, and that's all that really matters. And don't forget, you guys, you can't speak butterfly language to caterpillar people, so don't break your back and stress over trying to explain to them and whatever. If they don't get it, then they don't get it, and you just have to let it go and know that it's not personal and move on. All right, so on that note, stay flying free, and I'll see you guys next time.